Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to do a reading for all signs. This is a reading where we are connecting with our spirit guides. At least I'm connecting with my guides, who I feel connect with your guides. Many times that's why you're intuitively guided to this type of reading. I also feel that some of your guides are saying that you're missing some signs. I've already done your monthlies for April. This is for April, by the way, though time is very fluid in this type of reading. So definitely check out your April, because there may be some signs in there also. So that's what I feel like why we do the all signs is so, if you're missing anything, anything that can be a great benefit to you in, the upcoming energy, your guides want you to know. So let's begin. And bring the lid down a little bit. We're going to start with Mother Mary, get a little bit of words of wisdom. Okay, we're going to take that. We have joy. Joy. By enjoying this moment, I am giving thanks to God for my life. Joy. It's like the Three of Cups. Faith. I have faith in God to heal this situation. Like the Hierophant. I have faith in God to heal this situation. Okay. Alright, guys. We're going to use the Light Seers Tarot. As most of you know, I guess not everybody, I always pre-shuffle my decks and then give them a shuffle or two with you here. Let's give them a cut. I just did my twin flame reading. If any of you are in that type of relationship, I think I put it out yesterday. Okay, we're just going to take off the top of the pal. And this is really open to whatever the guides, in the light, want you to know, want you to see, or what you may be missing. All of that, maybe some type of understanding that you needed. So we thank them going in, and let's begin. We have the Queen of Cups. Well, just look at the artwork. You can see that she's connected, right? I told a story yesterday, I think it was, or in Scorpio's reading, I think it was, where I was looking up something else and somehow I came to this information where, and it's something I didn't know, where they say Scorpio is below the water, right? Stays below the water, and Pisces and Cancer are above and below. I was looking up seahorse. That's what it was. There was a seahorse in my card, and I'm like, you know what? I want to know exactly what it means. And that's how I got into Queen, because that was how she received her information. The seahorse would go up above the water and then bring it down to her. But this, anyway, Queen of Cups. It feels like as above, so below. As above, so below. We have the Nine of Cups. Well, I like that. Forget everyone else for a second. This is about you and you enjoying your life. This is where, the joy does feel plentiful. I guess the only thing I got to worry about is I don't overindulge, right? Maybe sometimes things seem so good that, I don't want to take it to an extreme, right? I still want to keep the gratitude in the cup, so to speak. But this is a great time. Listen, it could talk about time that, you were alone, but maybe it was so that you could truly find yourself. This queen, remember, when we do all signs, I'm not looking at this as only a water sign. I'm looking at it as the information, or how do I want to say it? Just how it makes me feel at that time. Wow, look at this. We have the Nine of Swords next to the Nine of Cups. Interesting. Two nines. Both nines speak of reflection. Nine of Cups, how did I become so lucky? Right, she's got a treasure chest there. It's open. The jewels are just dripping out. Nine of Swords, the complete opposite energy. It'd be like the Nine of Cups almost in reverse. Nine of Swords is unnecessary worry, but it's the feeling of doom. Some of you may be misunderstanding this energy. Like, what I feel is some of you could be highly intuitive, psychic. I feel like we're all psychic, but, like, not understanding your energy, because I feel like where you feel like there's doom, and I'm sure I'm only speaking to a couple here, but like where I feel there's doom, there's actually light, and maybe I need to remember that. There's always the opposite end of the spectrum. Nine of Swords talks about this is unnecessary. Cut it out. But listen, it stems from many things. Look at this, another nine. You guys, I'm telling you, I shuffled this deck like crazy. Look at that, 3 nines in a row. Some of you definitely have a life path 9, or you're in a personal year 9. If you don't know what that means, definitely look it up. I have videos under my playlist. You go on Google and easily see how to find out any of your numbers. So I don't know why I'm saying that other than 3 nines, 999. I kind of like the 9 of Wands next to the 9 of Swords, because I feel like this 9 of Wands is saying, and this is you, right? It's like your higher self. It's like your spirit warrior. Maybe it's your spirit guide looking over at you in this position, right? Saying, like, we've got this, right? We've got this. We've been here before. I often feel like the 9 of Wands is about past life energy. It's like there's something waiting right at the gate. But I'll never see it in the 9 of Swords. So that's why some of you are here, to see this energy. Listen, all kinds of things could have happened, no doubt, from the outside world. But this, to me, this reading feels like, first of all, remembering that your spirit, as above, so below. You don't walk this path alone, even if you feel it. It's just because you're blocked in that energy. 9 of Wands says you can get through anything. This is where you are. You have become, like, if I can overcome this 9 of Swords, I'm in my true spirit warrior energy. And that's probably where this sense of pure joy, I feel like, comes from. A lot of shadow work. Grateful for the 9 of Cups. I see my blessings. I count my blessings. I'm grateful for my blessings. I expect good things to happen, and they do. 9 of Swords, what's there to look at? whatever I do is going to turn out wrong. Right? I feel like the doom is here before it's even here. Nine of Swords is about unnecessary worry. It's based out of pain. Pain of the heart. But it's also what that's done. It's moved like from the heart to the mind, to your thought system. Let me reword that. Your mind is fine. It's your thought system. Like believing every thought that you have. When that negative thought comes in, listen, if it's not there to protect you, and you really want to use your intuition for that, like your intuition lets you know. You know, if you're like, you ever walk down the street at night and you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you feel like there's someone walking behind you, and maybe you turn your head, maybe you don't. I mean, I've done this a million times myself, not a million times, but I've done this, in my young years, walking home from a bar. And then instinctively I would just cross the street. And as I was crossing, I'd look behind me to see if there was anything if someone was behind me and they were also crossing the street, that I knew I had to run. But anyway, so it's just like that instinct. Instinct can feel like fear, but that fear it's to show you something or to move you out of it. So anyways. All right, let's go above the Queen. We have the Page of Swords. So interesting because the Page of Swords. Well, let's look at the Page here. Page is reading a book, and she's filling her mind with knowledge. And as she does that, it's like epiphany after epiphany after epiphany. Sign after sign after sign. Something's got to draw her to this book, right? Now, I feel like the book is an analogy of many different things in many different people's lives. Like, what is it that draws you to it? I don't think this has anything to do about love, and everything to do about just your life and the direction you take it. You want to take it. So, I already know this Queen is connected. She already knows she doesn't walk alone. The Queen of Cups is looking for that information. Don't be afraid of failure. If you fail, what can you learn from that? And then get back up. Don't be afraid of putting hard work in, because I feel like if you do that, the rewards certainly feel like they come. And in the Nine of Cups, like, she's completely open. The Queen and the Nine of Cups completely open. It's almost like they're taking the Superman pose, saying to the universe, I am open. Flow. I'm ready, flow that information to me. Well, we have the Sun over the Nine of Cups. I mean, come on. That's beautiful. Look at that. Another one in that Superman pose. That may call for you to do that pose. Go outside if if you want. You don't have to. You can do it inside. But I feel like if I can go outside into nature and just literally take this pose, first of all, I feel like it shakes off all the, I don't know, like the rust, the dirt, the dust. And it's telling the universe, I am open. This looks like such a beautiful and great time of your life. There's only one thing so far that would stop it, and that is the Nine of Swords. But you know what? The Sun comes out and says, you don't have to fear the doom because I'm illuminating your steps for you, right? That's what these epiphanies are. This is illumination to help you take your next step. You have to learn to trust it and then put action behind it. Nine of Wands definitely feels like your spirit self saying, come on, we've got this, we've got this. This is also a card of Leo, by the way. Ruler of Leo. We have the Moon, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. It's funny. Neighbors, the Sun and the Moon, right next to each other. How interesting is that? The Sun and the Moon right next to each other. So, above the Nine of Swords is the Moon. That gives us another little hint of why maybe our thought system may go a certain direction. And it's because, in the Moon, things are uncertain, right? It's at night. We can't see everything. We can only see what the Moon illuminates. The Sun is complete illumination, right? Nothing can hide in the Sun. So I feel like that's part of what I worry about. It is the uncertainty of perhaps if I don't know, change something, do something, if there's something I want to do. I definitely feel like you're being guided. We have the Eight of Cups. And I have to say, I like that the Eight of Cups is here. It's coming over the Nine of Wands, by the way. Can you see that? So, let's talk about the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is when it feels like our emotional house is in disorder. Not in order, in disorder, in disarray. Cups are knocked over. Maybe in my life I have never taken the time to reflect upon different chapters in my life that may, can add to the energy of this Nine of Swords. This Nine of Swords can cause isolation, depression, but it is situational, and that means it's changeable. Know that. It's changeable. It's almost like we're coming out of the winter months into, the spring and summer months. Like a big changing of seasons. Some of you may have noticed some changes, or changes that were sent to you during the Leo full moon, which was February. So, it's like our emotional house is in disarray. But this woman's walking away from it, right? Moving where? Into the Nine of Cups. Here it is. Here it is. Again, it just feels like your higher self saying, you've got this. You've got this. Stop thinking about doom. Stop thinking things won't work out. Start thinking things will work out. Especially as it relates to you. There's a lot of self-energy here. All these nines. What am I learning? Well, nines are about final reflections, so that I can allow chapters to end when they're meant to end, and not drag it with me. I'm not meant to drag them. You know why? Because the more open you are, it's like, look at the epiphanies. I feel like that's when the epiphanies are just like everywhere. Your signs are everywhere. She's got her hand down in her head down in her hands. She can't see any signs that are coming. She can't feel them. She will. She will. Because I feel like, again, this is about becoming like the spirit warrior. And your higher self is like protecting. It's like your spirit guides see some of you in this energy of the Nine of Swords. And this is what they're trying to work on, right? They're trying to get that message that there's The worry is unnecessary. And to replace it, and I know, so simple to say, with the energy of joy. But that can be something simple. Like, what do I have? Like, to be joyful. Listen, it may not be a material thing. It may be wisdom. It may be what you have learned. It could be old degrees, old talents, gifts that you have not. Even gifts need your energy, right? Otherwise, I'm not going to say they wither up and die, but, so let's say I'm a psychic, but I deny it. And I do feel like that for someone. So I deny it. And as I deny, and now listen, but I don't know, it's like I don't know that I am. It's like, but in a way I do. So I deny it. And you have a right to deny it. It's not about whether you say yes or no to it. It's just knowing it. You have every right to say no. I do not want to be connected. You know what I mean? Like, I'll figure this out on my own. Doesn't mean your guides go away. Anyway, why am I saying all that? All right, let's just go underneath. I don't even think this reading needs clarified. Wow, hello, Chariot. First of all, I don't know if I said the moon was Pisces, the ruler of Cancer. Now we actually have Cancer. Cancer's major arcana. So, let's talk about what the Chariot means. The Chariot to me is like a reward. A reward for what? A reward for learning how to balance yourself. There's a lot of energy about you. How to balance yourself. How to know that when you start thinking these negative thoughts that are based out of nothing, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put down your thoughts. But what I'm saying is, I get it myself. We all do. Thoughts that almost like try to talk you out of things. Anyway, the Chariot. The Chariot could not come if the Nine of Swords still existed. Here's why. Because in the Chariot, your mind is clear. Your mind is controlling where this Chariot goes. That's a reward. You can take it anywhere you want, or you can take it nowhere. You can leave it parked in your driveway. It's almost like who's ever in the Nine of Swords, like the Chariot's out in their driveway, but because they never look out the window, they never see it. So that's what the Chariot is. It's a balance of the light and the dark within, the masculine and feminine within. Finding balance, understanding, where there's hardships, there's also joy, and some of the hardships we put ourselves in, right? And that's the human nature. We're here to have a human experience, though we are a spirit, right? So, I feel like this queen is about to take one of these epiphanies, and she's about to move on it. We have the Five of Swords. What's interesting with the Five of Swords is when I was shuffling the deck, and I mean, I shuffle them and I just think and I just open myself up. Anyway, this was in reverse, and I flipped it around, and then I'm shuffling again, and I found it in reverse again. So I changed it back up. And I find it interesting that here it is. But was it meant to be in reverse? I don't know. But let's talk about what the Five of Swords means. First of all, it's a 5. And remember, anytime you see a 5, it's an opportunity to change something that doesn't fulfill. 5 of Swords talks about the toxicity. And sometimes, it's almost like if I don't change within that Five of Swords, it will take me to the Ten of Swords. Well, I shouldn't say that. It doesn't necessarily, right? But it did take us to the Nine of Swords. So, I don't want it to take you to the Ten of Swords. That's the thing. The Ten of Swords is where I almost have become submissive to just, it's almost like I don't expect joy. How the hell could joy come to me? Listen, in a million different ways. You're limiting your thought system, right? Even if you're in the toughest of situations. I know, I've been in them, and I'm no longer in them. You know what I mean? Many of us have walked each other's footsteps, and that's why we gather together. Okay, anyway. So, it almost like, it's like the chariot saying, well, here's your reward. What's a reward over? Because you made that change. That change is to leave that toxicity behind me. It's to know. It's funny because there's a raven picking at his head, right? And it's annoying. And it doesn't feel like it's going to change. It's almost like, it's almost like a spirit guide, like just pecking at your head, and I'm just going to keep pecking until you answer. Like, what the hell, right? But you know what I think? I feel like ultimately this is you moving out of that Nine of Swords, moving into that Nine of Cups with the Sun here. We have the Four of Cups coming under the Moon and the Nine of Swords. That tells me that, it's a reminder to be proactive in your own life. There may be things that there's something that you're dreaming about. There's something that you're wishing for, that type of energy. And instead of doing nothing, and because I feel like I dream it, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it can happen. Well, this queen is feeling quite the opposite. So I feel like what this is just saying is simply, this is about being proactive in your life, not allowing the weight. The world there's a lot of weight in the world, but there's also a lot of love in the world. Spiritual discernment, that's really what it's about. And I feel like that's what you can trust in. Okay, let's get the last card, which is the Page of Pentacles. Listen, certainly some of you, many of you have been on these chapters. And maybe these are 3 separate chapters, but I kind of don't feel that. I feel like they're talking to each other. So I feel like you've been on these chapters. And these chapters, because again, think 9, final reflection. Not so I can, it's not about beating myself up or any of that. It's only to gain what I can gain and to know thyself, right? To thyself, what's that? To thyself be true. So I feel like this Page of Pentacles is talking about knowledge, true knowledge. Knowledge is going to help you out in this physical world, but also knowledge that's going to help you. It's like your soul expands. And when your soul expands, all of our souls expand. Well, it's weird I just said that. I wonder if that's true. It must be. I said it. So I feel like you've been on a learning. It's interesting. We begin with the page, and we end with the page. This page where her head is down in the book, this page now is looking outward into the future. So I may be taking these epiphanies, right, and allowing a lot of this energy, like clearing what I need to clear. Get my emotional house in order. That's one of the main things. Stop thinking that everything's doomed, that everything's going to be bad, everything's just because you can't see that far. It's like when you work with your guides, your higher self even, your intuition, right? Here's the sun. It's like brighter days. Brighter days. And I feel like this is saying, if I understand that a lot of this, a lot of this is about my spirit having this human condition. I understand that going through each and everything is teaching me something. It's teaching me something. All right, let's just see what's on the bottom of the deck. And look at that, the High Priestess. And I feel like that is the perfect energy for right now. Your intuition. You have the opportunity for your intuition to be on fire. It's like opening to, the epiphanies, the ideas that want to come to you, that are coming to you, and then putting them into action. They don't work, they don't work. But I don't want to think that way. What is, if I think something's not going to work, what about it do I think is not going to work? Like, break that down. I'm telling myself it won't work. I'm telling myself I won't be successful. Why am I telling myself that? What makes me think that? Is it because I've had failures? The most successful people in the world have had the most failures. So, I feel like we're moving into a time where we're really, more and more people are connecting to their spirit, understanding life and the way it works and the energy, right, within us and our own power. All of that, our own power to create our own joy, but our own power to create our own prison at the same time. And, I feel like the more we're open, because everything feels open, the more life is going to surprise you with some blessings that truly will bring you joy. Now, I don't want you to think it's just like things falling in your lap. I feel like with the Chariot, again, your mind control, right? I can take this pentacle over here and I can grow it, especially with the sun. I can grow it to whatever it is I want. There may be, listen, there may be times when you doubt yourself. Take a moment. Think about it. Ask yourself some questions. Remember where, who you are and where you've been and all you've, and all you know. And then get up and maybe do it again. Now, I don't feel like it's talking about a relationship. Because I feel like 1, 2, 3, after the third time, it's like, No. We have the Eight of Pentacles under the High Priestess. Many of you, I feel like this is talking about spiritual type work. And listen, that doesn't mean that I sit there and talk to spirit. Spiritual type work, it's the light worker. It's helping those maybe who can't help themselves. The Eight of Pentacles, I love that you have that on the bottom of the deck, because this is talking about whatever you put your focus on is really what you're going to grow. Right after the Eight of Pentacles comes the Nine of Pentacles, and that is success. So, here somebody is telling them that I can't have that. I can't have success. And then here it's saying, oh, but you can, my dear. Yes, you can. If you're willing to focus on it. Sometimes that's how you get over some of these negative energies of the Nine of Swords, is by refocusing yourself. And I feel the more you clear your energy, the more you receive. And the more you learn. And I feel like life, this Chariot, stays with you. And from there, I feel like I don't even want to put a limit on where this can go. This may not talk about love, but how could love not come in this type of energy? Do you understand that? The more I'm open to, and it's because I know myself. I'm trusting my intuition, right? I trust my guides. I feel like you and I, all of us, are a big soul family. Like, we've come together for a reason, right? All of that. You know what I mean? Like, when I stop thinking that I have to do it alone, and I start remembering that I have my spirit guides, I have my angels, right? But my angels I need to invite into my life. I have my faith. I need to just make sure, that I still have my own, and I haven't taken on someone else's false faith, right? Because this Nine of Swords can be falseness also, not just, but a lot of times it's what we tell ourselves, but it's based usually out of other people's energy. So all I'm saying is, I feel like if I put my focus within this Eight of Pentacles, I can really grow. I can really learn. It's like the cycles of the moon. Maybe this talks about, like, maybe it's a class and it's a year long. Whatever it is. And remember, if you come here with a 9 life path, or 9 personal year, you're moving into the energy of 1 next year, which is the Magician. So it's kind of like 2021 is continuing for you until you're able to clear just that energy. And what a perfect time to do it. And I just want to say, even like twin flames, if it's not coming together, then at this moment, then maybe it's not meant to at this moment. But if you refocus yourself, like, I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to stop thinking about love. I'm going to stop thinking about someone, whatever it is. And I'm going to start thinking about me and my pentacles and my world, this lifetime. High Priestess. Oh, this was under the High Priest. I'm like, well, that's weird. Queen of Wands under there. Queen of Wands is kind of rising above. And she is just naturally in tuned. She naturally follows her intuition, what she's passionate towards. I feel like there's no way your guides aren't trying to send you, not even trying, some of you, you're receiving it already. But this is leading a lot of us on paths where, our spirituality is a big part of what we do. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to overtalk. I love you guys. I thank you for spending your time with me. I thank you for your donations. I try to give you everything I have in every reading, and I thank you. Your donations really help me stay on YouTube. Listen, if you can't donate, all of a sudden I feel like, am I begging for money? No. I thank you, though, if you do. I thank you for everything you do, though. I thank you for the comments. I thank you for the likes, the shares. I welcome anyone who's new, and I am blessed to have all that I have. So I thank you guys. I find this quite interesting. I cannot wait to read your comments. You're going to give me the clarity. How interesting, the sun and the moon right there. And how interesting, here is the light and there is the Nine of Cups below it. In the moon, it's more of the shadows, right? And there is the Nine of Swords below it. Makes perfect sense, guys. What do? Well, the Eight of Cups, right? Get my emotional house in order, and then I let it go. I let it be. That's what the Nine of Wands wants you to do. You can do this, right? You can do this. You can do this. So, I love you guys. I will see you next time at my table. Bye-bye.